Hi, I'm Elspeth from Ragged Life. I'm also the author of Rag Techniques for Beginners, and this is the second video in my peg loom weaving series where I teach you how you can make beautiful homemade rugs and placemats and cushions for yourself at home, like these ones here. In this particular video, I'm going to talk you through how you go about setting up the peg loom to start your peg loom weaving. If you want to know what equipment is used, I'd maybe check out our first video. So in order to begin peg loom weaving, the first thing that I always do is I work out what am I going to be weaving with, because that then dictates which of these 3 rows of holes I'm going to be working in. So if I'm working with knitting yarn, so something that's kind of much thinner, then I would be working into the closest spaced row of holes here, which fits these very fine pegs. That one there. If, however, you're working with fabric strips, then you want to be working in either this row, which is row 1, or row 2. Row 1 is if you're working with really thick, chunky materials, things like the blanket yarn that I'm going to be demoing within these videos. If you were working with denim, fleece, anything thick to medium weight to thick fabrics. If you're working with thinner fabrics to medium weight, so that would be like voile, chiffon, t-shirt material, cotton, then you will be working in the medium, like spaced holes here, the middle kind of row. So it doesn't really matter too much because you can cut strips wider or narrower if you wanted to work in the widest spaced holes and create a chunkier rug, or if you wanted to work in the kind of medium spaced ones, you could cut a thick fabric like denim narrower to kind of work into that medium one. So don't panic about it too much. But today's video, I'm going to assume that I'm going to be working with our 100% wool blanket yarn, which is very thick. So I'm going to be starting off by putting in pegs into row 1 in my peg loom. And you start off by putting in as many pegs as you want for the width of creation that you're going to make. So if I wanted to make I don't know, like a small placemat, for example, or a scarf, for example, I may only put in this many pegs. But for today's demo, I'm going to put pegs across the whole 50 centimeter width loom because I want to be making a small little doormat for my flat. So I have put in, I think, 19 pegs, which is the full width of my peg loom. And you can see that I've put the pegs into the loom so that the little holes that are in the bottom are closest to the loom itself, rather than being upside down with the holes facing upwards. So they're lower down. Once you got here, you then need to cut a piece of warp. So warp is the string that's going to hold your whole peg loom weaving together, so extremely important bit of equipment. You need to cut a piece of warp for every single peg that you've put into the peg loom, and never put in more pegs than the width that you're going to be working in, because it's really easy to accidentally weave too wide onto pegs that don't have this warp on if you put too many into the loom. So I'm going to start off by just explaining how long you should be cutting the warp to. So I've got 50 centimeters wide here, and I want to make a doormat that's roughly, let's say, 80 centimeters in length. So I need to cut 19 warp strings, and each of them need to be the length, so 80 centimeters, times 2, so that would be doubled, so that would be 160 centimeters. And then you add 30 centimeters as a kind of emergency fund. So that 30 centimeters allows you 15 centimeters that will be at the top of the peg loom weaving and 15 centimeters at the bottom to knot things off. And it's always better to have too much warp rather than too little. So you don't need to cut your warp strings exactly, you just need to make sure that you've got more than enough to kind of make the length that you want to. So if I was doing this professionally and didn't want to waste warp, I would be cutting each of my warp strings so that they were 80 centimeters times 2, so that would be 160 centimeters, plus 30 centimeters. So every warp string would have to be 190 centimeters in length. I'm just going to eyeball it for the moment because life's too short to be cutting them all exactly. So I'm going to take a length of warp that is roughly 2 times my wingspan. So you can see that that's kind of roughly a wingspan, but I've doubled it over. So I've cut 1 warp string for the moment. Once you've got kind of like, I like to do these 1 by 1, but sometimes people like to cut all 19 of them. But I find whenever I do that, they all just get tangled and I end up making a mess. So I like to do this one at a time. So once you've cut your 190 centimeter length of warp, you then take one of your pegs, and this little gadget here is called a threader. They come in our Ragged Life peg loom sets, but most peg loom kits will come with one. They're an easy and quick way to thread up the warp through these little holes that are at the bottom of the pegs. So you push that metal eye through the hole of the peg, then you put the end of the warp into the eye, and then you pull the metal eye back through the peg so that you've pulled the tail through. And then you want to even things up so that you get about half of the string on one side of the peg and half of the string on the other side. So I've got roughly half on one side, half on the other side. And then I just replace the peg back in. So I'll show you one last time. So I'm just taking my wingspan times 2. As I said, these don't have to be perfectly accurate. Then you find the end of your warp here. You take your peg, you push the eye of the threader through the little hole at the bottom of the peg. Then you put only the end of the tail of the warp through the metal eye. And then you just pull that metal eye back through the hole. And you're just pulling half of the warp so that it's on one side of the peg, half on the other side. And then once you've got them roughly even, you then replace them back into the hole, like so. And a la Blue Peter, I'm going to move on to one I've prepared earlier, so you're not having to watch me thread up every single one of these pegs across the whole loom. So you can see here, I've got all of my kind of separate pegs that have all been threaded up in exactly the way that I just showed you here. And I'm just going to put the peg loom a little bit further in front. And I like to make sure when I'm doing this part of the process that when I put the pegs back in, the holes are kind of facing east and west as opposed to north and south. So they're kind of like on the right and the left side of the peg as opposed to facing forward and towards me. Don't worry about that too much, it's not the end of the world. So now, if I started peg loom weaving on this peg loom, all of my weaving would eventually fall off the bottoms of my warp because there's nothing to secure them in position. So at this stage, what we need to do is we need to tie the ends of these warp strands together so that it prevents the kind of weaving from falling off. So the way in which you do that is you take the warp strands from 2 pegs. So it'll be 4 strings that you're taking together. And you want to knot them in a very loose kind of single knot. It doesn't have to be a very specific knot, but I'm making a little knot 15 centimeters roughly from the ends of the strings. And you can see that I've taken the kind of warp from 2 pegs and I've done it about 15 centimeters from the end. Then you take the warp strands from the next 2 pegs along and you try and knot them so that the knot is the same distance from the pegs. So once again, you're trying to knot it so it's about 15 centimeters from the end. We're not trying to do a really strong knot at this stage because we always come back at the end of our project and re-knot these bottom ones here. Because I found in all my experience, it's impossible to get these perfectly aligned and you're better off at the end of the weaving coming back and straightening everything up rather than kind of trying to get them perfect at the beginning. So I'm going to take my next ones along. Once again, it's almost like when people are cutting a fringe. You're trying to make sure that they're the same length so that you don't end up with a wonky fringe going on. But don't worry about these being absolutely perfect, because as I said, we're going to come back and re-knot them anyway. So you've probably maybe come to the conclusion already that I am working with an odd number of pegs. So it's not going to be divisible by 2. So when I'm kind of knotting off the strings from 2 pegs at a time, eventually at the end I'm going to get left with 3. That's not a problem. I basically take 3, when I get near the center of the loom, I take the strands from 3 pegs and I knot them off as a trio, so it'll be 6 strands all knotted off together. And I prefer to do it generally near the center of the loom because it tends to be a bit better disguised than if you do it at the end. So you can see here, I've now taken the strands from 3 pegs and knotted them together. And then I'm just going to keep going. Right, so we're now reaching kind of the last pair. So once again, the only kind of brief is that you're trying to make sure that it's the same distance from the ends of the pegs. And just knotting things off. So I've now got my peg loom perfectly set up. All of my warp strands are all knotted off in pairs or trios, so our weaving's not going to fall off the bottom there. And normally at this stage, I like to flip the peg loom around. So I'll just take all of these strands and throw them that direction. And then just pull the peg loom towards myself. And this is how I always like to peg loom weave, with the warp coming away from me, because otherwise what happens is the warp strands get kind of tangled up in your lap, which can be fairly annoying, because remember, the peg loom weaving is going to build up down these strings, and it's much cleaner and easier to see what's going on when it's going away from you rather than down into your lap. My absolute optimum setup is actually to have the peg loom set up on an ironing board, because it's just really nice to have it just falling over the back. The other little thing which you can do is you can actually clamp the peg loom to a table or the ironing board, because as you build up quite a lot of weight down the peg loom, sometimes it can move about on the table a little bit. So clamping it in position is a really good way to prepare your workspace. But other than that, you're all ready to go, raring to go to actually do the peg loom weaving itself. So if you're interested in learning that, you might want to check out my 3rd video in this series. Definitely like Ragged Life, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from us. And other than that, thanks for watching. I've been Elspeth from Ragged Life.